In this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about the frontal lobe. As you could probably guess by its name, the frontal lobe is located at the front, or anterior, part of our brain. Its boundaries are the central fissure, which separates it from the parietal lobe to the back, and the sylvian fissure, which separates it from the temporal lobe below. One of the most important structures housed within the frontal lobe is the primary motor cortex, which runs along the most posterior part of the frontal lobe. The primary motor cortex sends motor plans to muscles in the head, neck, limbs, and torso, essentially controlling the timing, strength, and speed at which these muscles contract. Just anterior to the primary motor cortex is the premotor cortex, which is responsible for planning movement. The frontal lobe is also home to Broca's area, which plays a key role in the planning and control of the movements necessary for speech production. Damage to Broca's area can result in Broca's aphasia, a disorder typically caused by a stroke in which an individual presents with intact understanding and intelligence, but effortful speech, with significant difficulty finding the right words. The last frontal lobe structure that I want to talk about is the prefrontal cortex, which is this whole part of the brain here. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for higher order functions, including the executive functions. These are important for us to know about because treating executive function deficits falls within the SLP scope of practice. Tara Sumpter, an SLP who specializes in this area, uses the analogy that our executive function system is like a theater director. In her words, executive function isn't the doer of the task, it's the cuer. It's the part of our brain that helps us recognize when a task is necessary or appropriate, and kicks it off. Some specific examples of executive functions include focusing attention, impulse control, regulating intense emotions, foreseeing and weighing consequences, planning, self-control, and problem-solving. Because of the key role the prefrontal cortex plays in behavior and emotional expression, it is sometimes known as the personality center. According to the ASHA Practice Portal, some of the conditions that can lead to executive function deficits include stroke, traumatic brain injury, dementia, and ADHD. Although ADHD is not a communication disorder, it is a common comorbidity of many developmental communication disorders such as autism, dyslexia, specific language impairment, and speech-sound disorder. So I think it's important for those of us who are interested in working with these populations to learn how to facilitate the development of executive function skills.